So welcome to the Strong Workforce Program Breakout. Again, this presentation is being shared in the chat if you'd like to follow along with the hyperlinks, and it's also being recorded and will be shared through SDCOE. I'm Suzanne Sebring. I'm the manager for Career Pathways for the Regional Consortium.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Cavazos. I'm also with the region, and I'm a coordinator for Career Pathways.
Hello, everyone. This is Monica Rosas, also a coordinator, but for employer engagement team and professional development. A little bit of work-based studying as well. Thank you for being here.
Now that you've met the three of us, we would like to know who's in the room. So we'd like you to introduce yourself. And to do this, we're going to use a Jamboard activity. Monica has put the link in the chat for you to access. So if you'll link there, Heather, to the Jamboard link. Perfect. As you can see, we'd like you to click on a sticky note, which is over here on the left, and type in your name and your institution and your role or what subject you teach. We'd also like you to think about your last Amazon or other online purchase. This item is your weapon or tool for shopping in the stores on Black Friday. So what's going to get you through the madness? So we see that Monica is from the Regional Consortium and she doesn't teach, but she is a coordinator and she has fall themed placemats on her dining room table. That's what she's going to use to move her way through that Black Friday madness.
I don't think they will help me a lot, to be honest.
Well, Heather has a running light that she wears on her body. So,
because when you run at 5 a.m., you got to be able to see. So
you
if I'm
start
going to
real
wear that, I'm wearing it
yeah.
to Black Friday.
Okay, welcome, Pamela. See, you're from West Ed, research associate, and a dog raincoat. Oh, that's going to be super helpful. Danica Markey. Helix Charter School, nice to have you here. CTE Academic Advisor, motorized standing desk converter. That's awesome. I have a sit-stand desk too, and those things are awesome. Mine's not motorized though. You're a step ahead.
Joy Lewis from Wested is also, she's on the phone and she's saying that, well, she's a consultant to the region and she bought dog food for her pup. So that's her weapon or tool of choice.
All right. All right, we have Steve Hamilton, Professor Emeritus from Cornell University. Nice. Hearing aid batteries. Well, you'll definitely need those to hear what's going on around you. Thank you for joining us.
I think that's everybody.
All right, well, thank you for that.
That was fun.
It was fun.
It's always fun to know what people buy on Amazon because you can buy anything, right? Or wherever you're buying something. Okay.
So today we're going to talk about who we are, our roadmap to career success, regional investments and resources, and then we'll conclude the session. The resources we'll be sharing cover these focus areas. They cover a career education guide, the priority sector handouts, the integrated career planning and education planning brief, our regionally K-14 endorsed early college credit definitions, K-12 to community college program finder tool for practitioners and students, a tool that's being developed for adult education and non-credit programs, the community college finder tool, as well as our regional employer engagement efforts. This slide shows the mission and vision of our regional consortium, along with the strong workforce metrics the region is looking to improve upon. So we are transforming the way educators, industry, and community partners equitably advance economic mobility. And our metrics include a number of enrollments, course retention, number of students who transferred, job placement, and percentage who attained a living wage. Here are the 10 community colleges in the San Diego and Imperial region that we represent. We collaborate with K-12, community colleges, adult education non-credit, and local workforce development representatives to develop regional career pathways. This system facilitates K-12 and adult school transitions to community college and success in pathways once students are enrolled. We are here to create a broad awareness and understanding of regional career pathways for middle school, high school, adult education, and community college. This is the region's Road to Career Success graphic, which aligns with guided pathways and indicates the many types of on-ramps to education. Career pathways is part of the Clarify the Path pillar, which includes outreach, alignment, and acceleration. For outreach, we strive to provide meaningful engagement and exploration by career pathway. For alignment, we develop intersegmental pathway alignment and industry alignment. For acceleration, we offer early college credit options as well as credit for prior learning. The goals across our K-14 intersegmental partnership for student success include increasing awareness of high wage, high skill, in-demand job opportunities, increasing transparency of program pathways into post-secondary, accelerating time to degree completion to save students time and money, and expanding entry to well-paying jobs to increase students' career success. Next slide. Now I'd like to point out a problem that we need to discuss. According to the National Skills Coalition, 47% of jobs in California require skills training beyond high school, but less than a 4-year degree. However, there are more of these middle skill jobs available than trained workers. This leads us to the solution. As you can see from this chart, California needs to train more workers for these jobs through AA degrees, certificates, or through industry valued credentials. To help solve the skills gap problem, the K-12 Strong Workforce Program was introduced to create, support, and expand high-quality career education programs at the K-12 level that are aligned with the regional priorities of the community college workforce development efforts. The Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, or CTIG, is a program established as a state education, economic, and workforce development initiative to provide students in kindergarten through 12th grade with the knowledge and skills necessary to transition to employment and post-secondary education. The region supports this critical work by assisting applicants and awardees of K-12 Strong Workforce Program funds and the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, by supporting implementation of K-12 CTE programs and pathways, by offering professional development for the K-12 pathway coordinators and other stakeholders, by promoting partnerships between K-12 and community colleges, as well as K-12 and business and industry, and by ensuring data collection for meeting the K-12 Strong Workforce Program metrics. I'd now like to turn it over to Heather to talk a little bit about our regional resources.
Thanks, Suzanne. Okay, so now we'll cover the regional resources that are available to educators, counselors, and administrators. These resources were created over the past 2 years in collaboration with K-12, community colleges, adult education, NonCredit, and local workforce development representatives. Get ready, there's a lot, but it's all good stuff. This is, first of all, we wanted to mention that this is our regional website. This website is called My Workforce Connection, and it's for practitioners. So all of the resources that we reference in our presentation today can be found on this website. And we'll also be providing the direct links to each resource. I think Monica's going to post those in the chat. But that PDF attachment that I attached in the chat earlier does have all of these links. So you can feel free to follow along and link into these links. So again, My Workforce Connection, I'm being very casual here, but I just want to be able to show you what that looks like. And here is the website here. You can see representing all the priority sectors that represent from the community college side. I know with the K-12, with the CDE, there's 15 priority sectors. At the college side, we have about 7 to 8. It's kind of fluctuating and we're adding more. So we have all of the sectors here, as well as educator resources. I'm not going to go through it all, but I just wanted to give you an overview. Workforce Development Council, our governance structure, all about the Strong Workforce Program that Suzanne mentioned, and all of our work groups that are involved. We also have some labor market information here on this website. So this is a great website for all the practitioner tools that we're going to share with you today. So I wanted to point that out. And then going back to the presentation, our next slide is the one of those tools is the Career Education Guide. This is a guide that showcases the 8 community college priority sectors with labor market information. This guide is created in collaboration with our research arm called the Centers of Excellence, which provides labor market research for community colleges in the state of California. We have a Centers of Excellence specific to our region, and it's strategically designed to study the regional economies in California, support the community colleges by providing customized data on high growth, emerging and economically critical industries and occupations and their related workforce needs. This guide can be used by K-14 counselors, so K-12, as well as college counselors, faculty, administrators to help students align with their interests and values with career pathways that will lead them to careers in high wage and in-demand sectors. So I wanted to show you really quick an example of the Career Education Guide. Here it is again, back to my Workforce Connection. 2021 is coming soon, but we do have the link to 2020. Each year we come out with a new guide, and you can see this is a really great tool for students to share. It follows the RISEC Holland's Code, interest and abilities, skills and abilities kind of coding, has some basic information about middle skill jobs. Really, I just wanted to show you kind of the front of the beginning of it. You can see now we have dedicated pages to each sector. So this is advanced manufacturing. And on this page, there's some fast facts about how many people are employed. Again, this is all pertains to our region, San Diego and Imperial counties. How many people are employed, the projected growth, how many businesses there are in our region, and what are the average earnings per job in this sector, advanced manufacturing. And then it shows you the RISEC codes that apply to this. The really cool part is after each of these, the second page or the 2-part of each sector is these jobs and wages page. So you can see here, I'll let you digest. This is a list of all these occupations, specific occupations, and it's broken down by what degree of or what level of education is needed for each of these. And then it shows the entry-level hourly rate as well as the salary rate for these specific occupations. And again, this is all tied to research and data from Centers of Excellence. This is accurate data based on 2020. And our 2021 guide will be coming out soon. So you can see it goes down from a certificate, high school diploma to certificate, and then down to bachelor's degree and so forth. And then it goes on to the different sectors and so forth. So we wanted to show you that guide. It's a really great resource, and it is available on my Workforce Connection for our region, for anybody to use that. The next resource that we do have are priority sector handouts. These are more they're one-pagers. They're easy to understand and designed for students and parents. And as you can see, we've created a handout for each sector. Each one contains some basic labor market information, really basic, right? I know that Career Education Guide is a little bit more advanced. This is a little more basic. It contains that LMI as well as knowledge, skills, and abilities. And then on the back of each of these, it lists that number of occupations like we just saw in the Career Education Guide, and the minimum education requirement, the salary, and the hourly and the salary information as well. So these are designed to, hand out to students and share with students. And these are also on my Workforce Connection. Sorry for all the toggling back and forth, but they are all here under priority sector handouts, and you can see all the different sectors that are represented here. So these are great, again, one-pagers that can be used to show students that are in your pathways that you'd like to share this information about. And this is always being updated, and we put any of these new resources on our website, my Workforce Connection. One, I know Joy's with us today, our West Ed consultant. There are fantastic partners and consultants for a long time. And they produced the integrated career planning and education brief. This brief was produced by WestEd, and it explains that career planning is part of a lifelong career development process, really, which ideally begins in middle school with career exposure and early exploration. And it carries on through high school, continues into post-secondary education with developmentally appropriate career exploration, and is revisited throughout the career, one's career. So this is a great, more for practitioners, kind of a brief to detail that out and why career planning is so important. Also comes with this PowerPoint presentation as a supplemental. So this is a really good thing just to reference and see why it's so important. The final resource I'd like to share with you, I know we're throwing a lot at you right now, but again, these are all linked, except for this one, because this is in a draft mode, as you can see, draft. And this is our early college credit flyer. This has been vetted throughout the region. So all of your K-12, your leads at your district, your CTE leads at your district level, most of them have seen this in our work group meetings. And so it's been vetted through our community college CTE deans, as well as the K-12 district CTE leads. It's in the draft stages right now, but the purpose is to give it's a general information piece to raise awareness of the ways in which our community colleges offer students, adult or high school, access to early college credit in order to accelerate their post-secondary goals and their transition into the workforce. Again, this is a draft, and the final version of this will be shared at our regional council conference on December 1st and 2nd. More to come about the council conference at the end of this presentation, but we wanted to share with you this resource is available, and it is a regionally endorsed handout. So we're continuing to refine this to make it easy for students to understand what early college credit is. Now we would like to show you a tool that maybe some of you have heard about. This is an exciting website that the region launched just last spring, and it's called the K-12 to Community College Program Finder. So before we go into it a little bit, and I know you've got the link there, but this website, I'll describe what this is. This website is a pathway mapping tool that aligns career education programs and offerings in the regional high schools to their corresponding programs of study at the 10 community colleges in the San Diego and Imperial counties. This easy to use tool enables students and their parents to browse all 15 CDE sectors, industry sectors, and find programs that match their interests. K-12 educators and counselors can use this tool to find the programs offered at the colleges that align to the pathway that their students are currently in. And then the program finder also is a great tool for community colleges because those counselors and outreach staff can use this for targeted outreach to specific pathway students at the high schools. So let's do a quick little preview of this tool, because this is a fun tool to play around with. If you, again, programfinder.com is the URL here. And you can see we do have a search for like a job if a student didn't know exactly what occupation falls under these priority sectors, they can do a search in this field and it'll take them on this journey we're about to go on. But for this instance, we're going to just do a quick little walkthrough of this and how to utilize this very simple website. So let's go into information and communication technology. Again, this is built around the K-12 15 priority sectors. So we're going to go into ICT. Can you guys see my screen okay still? Okay. And then let's click on, these are all the, the areas of interest under that sector you can see here. Okay. So we're going to click on computer information systems. Okay. Now you're like, well, wait a minute. Why is this showing like almost this whole state of California? Well, it's because this website is built to be statewide. As of right now, Orange County region and us, San Diego and Imperial. So here's Orange County right here. And us, San Diego and Imperial, have adopted this tool. And there's some words out there that, LA region might be adopting it soon, and so it'll expand. So it is built to be statewide. That's why you're seeing Orange County there. But you can do a filter by location. Okay, so see that up there. They're actually making this a little bit more easy to find. So coming soon. But let's do, I live in La Mesa. I mean, I'm in El Cajon. So let's do 92020. And we're going to filter schools. Okay, so you can see now it went into our region. And then you can see all the colleges that have some type of program, computer information systems program that it's offering. And these are all the colleges here on the left that offer this. So this is, again, in our region. So now I'm going to go, okay, let's go to San Diego Mesa College and see what they have. And the beauty of this is instead of having to find all of this information and go through the Mesa College website to locate this, it links you directly to that program page. So here's Computer Information Sciences program and everything that is offered, all the courses here that align to that. So that's where you can find the college programs, but also underneath all the colleges, it lists all the districts in our region that offer some type of pathway or courses that fall under information and computer information systems. Sorry. So did I go to computer information systems? Let me look really quick. I'm so sorry. I'm going to back out. I went here. Yes. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I did my right path here. So you're getting another little, a little tour. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on, here's all the districts that have pathways that align to this. So let's go to San Diego Unified. You can see down, there's quite a few, right? I mean, ICT is everywhere here. So let's go to San Diego Unified. And it lists the district CT contact, Sarah Bielma, and then the regional provider, which is San Diego County Office of Education. And then it lists all the high schools that offer, you know, their pathways are called different. Some the pathways aren't exactly, you know, computer information systems, but these are what the pathways are called under that category. So information support services at this charter school. And then you can see all the schools that offer the software and systems development pathway here, what the pathway is called, and then the students in the pathway. Want to point out that this data is 1819, so it is a little bit older. We get this from the CDE. It's released based on what is inputted into CalPADS. They have not released the 1920 data yet, so we're a little bit behind, but that will be updated soon. That doesn't mean the pathways aren't updated. So the pathways are all here. What we're going to do is we're going to scroll down so you can see lots of high schools offer. We're going to scroll down to Mission Bay High School. They have 231 students that were in their pathway 1819. And what it does, the beauty of this is it takes you right to that site page. And then it takes you to that CTE page. These are the pathways that Mission Bay High School has. And then you can click on ICT and it takes you directly to that page and what course offerings there are. So the beauty of this tool is really being able to provide the user kind of that more targeted journey, right? To what they can find in that pathway and how they can find it. It links directly to those pages where they might need that information. And then as well as a contact at the school that can maybe help them with questions that they have. So that's a brief kind of run through of Program Finder. There's a more in-depth training that we provide, and it's available here on this link, which I won't link to, but this marketing materials, there's flyers, there's a 30-second video, lots of language that can be used to promote Program Finder and use it for parents and students, as well as practitioners, counselors, other faculty. And there's an in-depth training recording on this as well that can be used. So we wanted to share this tool, let you know, again, launched last spring. It's being refined and updated continuously. We have a whole process behind it. We work closely with the County Office of Eds, both Imperial County and San Diego, to update all this K-12 data and pull it from CalPADS. So happy to be able to show you this tool and explore it, have fun, see what you think, and let us know feedback as well. So the last slide that I wanted to cover was about adult education and non-credit programs. To increase awareness of adult education and non-credit programs, for the past year, the region has been making a concerted effort to ensure that they are included in the regional career pathways work. We have breakout sessions by and for this audience at the annual Counselor Conference. And last year, we embarked on a mapping and coding project to create a repository for adult education courses and programs aligned to the CDE program codes. A22, is that right, Stan? A22, sector and pathway, the top codes, occupational stock codes. This allows us to better understand and align courses and programs to jobs, and to ensure curriculum and instruction incorporates skill that aligns with industry needs that students have access to training programs and career pathways. We will use this new repository for ongoing horizontal and vertical alignment of program pathways. We're collaborating with the Regional Adult Education Consortia, San Diego County Office of Education, Imperial County Office of Education, and the Regional CTE Deans and Workforce Development Council, that was a mouthful, to examine the data and ensure equitable learning across student populations. So we have a lot of focus and we're doing a lot of fun projects for the region, and we hope these resources you'll find valuable. And Monica's going to share another resource, so I'll turn it over to Monica. I'll stop sharing my screen, Monica.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about, and I do have a disclaimer, Lynn. I know you asked a question in the chat about if we had a resource that students can go in and compare and contrast. We don't have something as fancy, but I do have, I want to share this with everyone. We do have another program, College Finder. The one that Heather showed, the program finder, that's high school or K-12 to community college. This one in particular is anyone to community college. So for example, and I'm going to go in just like Heather did. When you go into our careered.org, and I know Heather's going to put that in the chat, you can look for colleges on this tab, colleges and programs, or if you have a particular sector that you're looking for, in this case, you asked for fire technology, I think, you can go into the health sector and you will see what colleges offer that program. So for example, and I kind of know this by heart, I know Southwestern offers it. Where is it? It's not showing up, but they do, or I don't see it. But they have EMT, for example. I know Imperial offers it as well. So that kind of could be helpful for your students to go in to the, let me just move the Hollywood Squares, to go into the more information piece. And then there they can compare and contrast. I hope that was helpful, but this is what we have currently, and we're always trying to like revamp, restructure to make things easier, not only for high school students, but for anyone who's interested in joining the community colleges. So this is our careered.org, like I mentioned. We have it for the 7 priority sectors that we promote within the 10 community colleges, and you'll see that's the reason I kept my background so you guys can see all of our 10 community college logos that are part of the regional consortium. And feel free to ask any other questions, Lynn. I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. And now moving on to our regional employer engagement efforts. So currently we have an employer engagement team, and it consists of a director of strategic partnership. And some of you may know we have 6 regional directors. These regional directors for employer engagement, they have a really long title. They represent 6 of our priority sectors. And think about them like there are subject matter experts. So it's people that have worked in industry or have a lot of industry experience who are now working with us to help us build relationships and partnerships with industry. Now, their contracts are going to end at the end of December. So we have a new proposed regional engagement team or model that's currently being in the approval process. This is not something that the regional consortium, San Diego Imperial, just decided one day to create. This is a mandate from the chancellor's office. So we had to come up as a team regionally with a proposed regional engagement team. So before I go into explaining what this three core functions are that you see in the gears. I do want to give all of you a disclaimer. Our regional employer engagement team works for community college students. So everything we do is for them. However, anything we produce with our research team at WestEd or our sister agency, the Centers of Excellence for Labor Market, anything we produce, we give it to, it's public. We open it up to the region, we share it with the region. We have great partnerships with the San Diego County Office of Education, with the Imperial County Office of Education. So we share, like Heather was sharing right now, those handouts, the career ed guide, anything that we produce is for everybody. And then our motto is really important because we really, everything we do is for industry, is for the employers, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to hire our students. And why do we work with them? Of course, to validate knowledge, skills, and abilities, or the KSAs, for those in-demand occupations. Also to develop those relationships for those work-based learning and employment opportunities for our community college students. Another little disclaimer here, sometimes companies come to us and they know that we work with the community colleges, but then they say, oh, we also want to have an event for high school students. And that's when we bring in the county offices of education. So again, those relationships with the county offices of education are super important. I'll give you an example. Earlier, and I'll share the links to those YouTube recordings. Earlier this month, we had 2 events with Thermo Fisher Scientific. They wanted one for high school students and one for community college students. So we don't, even though our work is with the community colleges, we always try to include or collaborate with anything, with industry, and whatever they need, we try to like make it happen, right? And then of course align curriculum to industry standards and needs, because we were trying to prepare employees for these companies, and we want to prepare them how the employers or how industry trends are currently. So, oh, sorry, let me go back. Let me move the heads really fast. Okay, so these 3 functions, I think I mentioned regional director, sorry, the director for strategic partnerships. We have 2 new-ish functions, the employer relations liaison and the industry relations consultant. And I'll go briefly over them because I think we're okay. Before I go into the functions though, and I'm not going to read all of them, but what are the benefits of a regional employer engagement model? Of course, to reduce equity gaps in employment and work-based learning, right? We want to be equitable, we want to be fair, we want to offer the same opportunities to every single student in our region. Address each of the college's unique employer needs. What MiraCosta may need is very different from what San Diego City College will need. Why? Because even though they have similar programs, MiraCosta has a very strong biotech program, whereas City College has a really strong manufacturing program. So their needs are very unique to each of the colleges. The ability to engage with small employers. I love to throw out the statistic that the Small Business Administration definition of a small business is any company with less than 500 employees. So guess what? Like 90% of the companies in the United States are a small business. So not all of our, and I always tell this to students, yes, it's okay to want to work for an Illumina or a General Atomics, but sometimes it's okay to start off in a smaller company. Why? Because they may be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers of the big ones, and you'll gain a lot of experience by working with these companies. Plus, when you work in a small company, you wear different hats. So that gives you so many soft skills and technical skills that you won't even learn in school. And the last one that I did want to mention is one of the benefits is to establish a regional tracking of the KPIs, or the key performance indicators. So HubSpot is a platform, a CRM, client relation management tool that we have adopted. And this is going to be like our holy grail. It's going to keep us organized as a team, as an employer engagement team moving forward. In fact, earlier today, I had a meeting with my team in HubSpot because they're trying to like bring us on board and teach us all of the fancy technology things that they have in their platform. Okay, what is the role of the teal or green gear? That's our Director of Strategic Partnerships, that's Kevin McMacken in our office. So his role is really to manage our team, as well as to maintain and grow those high-level relationships, for example, with the San Diego Regional EDC, Economic Development Corporation, and all of the other smaller EDCs like the North County EDC, the East County EDC, the South Bay EDC, of course, San Diego Workforce Partnership, and industry leaders. For example, we have really good connections, thankfully, with Biocom Institute. So that's basically his role, to maintain those high-level relationships. And of course, build capacity with our team, because we do currently have 10 work-based learning coordinators and job placement case managers at each of the college. So those are going to stay, and Kevin kind of manages all of us. Okay, so the ERLs, or the Employer Relation Liaison, this is a new, newly created full-time positions. We'll have 10 of them. And again, it's not because the regional consortium just made this up. The career education deans were surveyed, and there were many, many meetings to get to this point. Basically, each college wanted to have, like that customized service, to have that one person to work for their college only. So this is going to happen. We haven't started interviewing or anything, but this is part of the plan. And some of the ERL's positions will be, of course, to increase and improve relationships with employers in that college service area. And not only in the college service area, but that's where the technology comes in, and like our meetings, our weekly check-ins, et cetera, come in order for everyone to communicate. Another thing is, and this is something that I lived because I do a lot of these industry-focused events, building those strategic relationships, not only with industry, but with key college stakeholders. I see it all the time. When I know a faculty or an educator, they'll open my email, they'll promote the opportunity to their students. Whereas if it's someone that doesn't know me, they won't even open the opportunity, and the students never get that. So those relationships are going to be super key. It's also going to help us when we go out to employers. And I know if they tell me, let's say I'm going to a manufacturing company and they say, oh, I have the 10 CNC machines that are XYZ brand, and I know that that machine is being used and taught at Southwestern, for example. So you're going to be able to connect those dots if you have those strategic relationships at the colleges. Another thing that we're going to do with the ERLs is, and this hasn't been implemented, basically the college employer partner gap analysis. It's really going to be an inventory of what partnerships already exist with that college. So for example, let's say at Grossmont, they have a really strong health program, and they have connections to every single hospital and doctor in San Diego, but they may not have connections for their drone program. So this analysis is going to help us identify those areas of need and opportunity. And then of course, we'll work together again with technology to maximize efficiency and avoid duplication efforts. I have to go a little bit faster because we're almost to the 3:50. The other role or core function kind of already exists, and that's those regional directors that I mentioned in the beginning. Those contracts end in December. We still need those subject matter experts, because I may be really good at understanding a little bit about each sector and industry, but I'm not a specialist in manufacturing. I'm not a specialist in logistics. So we need those 5 IRCs, or subject matter experts. And for the other priority sectors that we have, like I said, we have really good relationship with Biocom. In fact, we're going to do an event with them in San Diego Unified on December 8th. Most of us have business background or come from industry, so we can cover the business sector and any other sectors that we promote. It could be like utilities and energy, like renewable energy and those type of things, especially in Imperial, because it's part of our jurisdiction. And really the IRC's job is to work hand in hand with our sister agency, the Centers of Excellence, to understand the KSAs, to assist the colleges with curriculum alignment, be part of help with their advisories, and inform us of future for future regional investments in the sectors or programs. Okay, so that was the employer engagement piece. We have 2 more resources that we really wanted to share. Since summer, when Heather in my position kind of like pivoted, she was doing more career pathways and me working more with industry. This past month in particular, we had these 5 webinars. And I really want to thank the county office, especially Alex Becker's team, because they always are really good at helping us promote it. They're really good at, once the event is done, we send him like the YouTube links and he also adds it to their innovation website. So just this past month, we worked with these 3 sectors: biotech and life sciences, ICT, we had the data science and cloud computing and cybersecurity event, and then manufacturing. And we had this really cute keynote speaker that works at JPL Lab for NASA. And she actually came from City College. So she was very inspirational and gave a bunch of tips to the students. So we did these, and these, like I said, all of these are the recordings when you click on them to the YouTube recording. And then really fast, we, Heather and I created these promising practices when COVID hit. So we had to cancel a bunch of like in-person events, industry tours, college tours for high school students, parent engagement events, etc. So what we did, because we needed a project, we got together and we created these promising practices for those work-based learning opportunities or activities that I just mentioned. So this one's industry and community college campus tours. It has timelines, it has samples to emails to industry. It has like PowerPoint presentations, it has all of that good stuff. We also have the community college events, like those really large events where we used to bring in 150 middle or high school students to teach them about pathways at the college, very hands-on-ish. We have this one too. We also have the classroom presentations, which I'm sure all of you have done, but it has a little timeline, again, examples of emails, etc., email blurbs. And then we have this for parenting, in-person parent engagement events. We've also done virtual, where we help the districts with industry partners, with labor market information, and all of the resources that we have for everybody. So these 4, again, free, they're on our website. Feel free to go browse, play with them, use some of the information, they're all there. And last but certainly not least, Heather kind of mentioned it earlier. We have our, I think this is our 5th annual Cancer Conference, 2nd virtual, because I'm not going to mention it, but you know who. And it's, again, on Whova, the platform, and we have 2 days, 9 to 1, 2 amazing keynote speakers. Each day it's gonna be 2, I always get this wrong, 2 sessions, 6 or 7 breakouts. Thank you, I always like flip them. And then the next day, same deal, 2 sessions and then 6 or 7 breakouts across the board in these topics: middle school, high school, adult and non-credit, community college students. So counselors, administrators, educators, everyone's welcome to attend. It's free. You just need to sign up on the link that I think Heather's going to post in the chat. And then that's all I have. And I think that's all we have. We thank you so much for being here.
Does anybody have any questions for us? Yes. Oh, thanks, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Al. Anybody have any questions? Hopefully we describe what we do.
It was a lot. We're sorry, but we only got 50 minutes.
You did a great job. Very thorough.
Thanks,
I
Al.
learned so much.
Oh, can we ask you questions? No, I'm
Thanks,
kidding.
Pamela. Sandra posted a survey in the chat as well, a link to the survey if you could fill that out. Regarding the breakout today.
Is there a certificate for this session?
Oh,
Yes.
Do I get my
sorry,
certificate?
I needed to stop.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right
I want
now.
my certificate.
And maybe. See if it lets me share. I think I haven't shared with my new laptop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pamela, they did. The Centers of Excellence. I mean, I don't know. Susan has been with the community colleges longer than Heather and I think, but they've been around for quite some time.
Yeah, they have. They've been around for a long time. We've done so much more since they've been involved with Strong Workforce Program, though. I mean, it's a resource that's so valuable, and we're using it really in every different area now, including our K-12 adult ed partners. That's the repository that we created that Heather described, that leads, all the CTE programs across, K-12 and community colleges, and then to those SOC codes that lead them into jobs. And so it's really exciting to be able to look at that data, to be able to see where the jobs are, and give students information about what kind of earnings they can make in these different positions as well. So love the Centers of Excellence.
We couldn't do anything we do, honestly, without them, because, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Susan.
No.
Our motto is our work begins and ends with employers, but it's also something that we don't say often. We guide all of our decisions in the labor market. So the priority sectors come from there. So they deserve huge kudos from us because they're an amazing team to work with.
Making sure that we're preparing students for, living wage, because, there's a lot of jobs out there that we want to steer them towards those jobs that are going to be able to support them and their families. So.
Good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? I mean, that concludes our presentation, but if you have any questions, feel free. We'll stay on and feel free to ask away.
I have a particular interest in wanting to sit in on this. I gave a presentation yesterday on youth apprenticeship. I'm working on a project to expand youth apprenticeship. And in my view, that's ideally something that starts in high school, continues into community college.
Mhm.
And I'm curious to know whether you thought about doing anything like that. And if you have, I'd be glad to be in touch and see what kinds of resources we could contribute to that. This is through a contract from the Labor Department through Urban Institute in DC. So it's, Department of Labor is paying for us to work with people to do this kind of thing.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's very exciting. And yeah, there are a lot of apprenticeship programs at the community colleges, but not as many that start earlier. And right. I think it's a great idea, because a lot of these, once the students get in, it's like 5 years of working, and they continue to make more money and they continue to gain that experience. But if they know that this is the career they're looking to enter, starting earlier is, all the better. We have done something like that with a pre-apprenticeship program that Palomar College did in collaboration with San Marcos Unified. And so it's been really amazing. And I'd be happy to touch base, and I'll put my contact information here, but I'll put it in the chat as well if you'd like to.
Okay, I can do that too.
Here's my email, and I'll take yours.
Great, I will get in touch.
Thanks,
All right,
thank you. Hi, Lynn, did you have a question?
I did. So just along the lines of the kind of the one pager, something I'm really finding with my students is with Poway District is very close to Miramar, and so we do use the career ed, program finder. But when we're looking at, we're just kind of going off course catalog information, and it's hard to really steer what would be a better program. So I don't know if that's something that could maybe be up and coming, or if you have any suggestions of, any areas that I could dive into that a little bit more to find that information.
So when you say, well, I just want to ask a question to your question, Lynn, if you don't mind. When you
Sure.
say better program, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So, for example, I have several students interested in fire science, and so both Miramar and Palomar have fire science programs. So we kind of look at the web page and we look at the course catalog, and then they're like, "Well, which one should I? What do you think?" I'm like, "No, I don't really know how to steer you." So I almost like just kind of if you could have something to compare and contrast, like here's our highlights about why you should pick our our program, and then they could have that and see beyond, because a lot of times they pick what has the program that's closest to them, but maybe one would actually be a better fit if it met some of their other needs. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And I mean, for us as a region, because we represent all 10 community colleges, right? And all CTE programs offered. So it's hard for us to kind of be, this program is better because of this and this. So we kind of leave that up to the colleges to promote their programs how they can. But to help with that, the region is behind, and we're doing more focused work with the outreach departments at each of the colleges to get into the school sites, the high school sites, to promote and talk about these programs, and in a very peer-to-peer way, right? So that they could ask those questions, like, or kind of hone in on those specific details about why their program is highlighted, or why it's, may look better than maybe something else. Because you're right, at this point, all they really have to go off of is what they see online, or like their commute, right? Like how they get to school. And so yeah, we do. It's a good point that you bring up though, Lynn, about that compare and contrast point. So I made a note of that. I know that we kind of leave that up to the colleges, but yeah. It's a good
And we feel your pain because not all community college websites are created equal.
Right.
Some of them are fancier than others. Some of them just give you a link to their catalog, and then you have to scroll down in a black and white catalog and like do Control F and look for things, right? It's very complicated. It would be amazing if we could house in our career ed website those compare and contrast kind of questions. So we'll bring it up. We have a marketing team. We're always, like I said, we're always trying to improve and work very closely with the community college marketing departments. So thank you for bringing that up, because we need to voice
great
this.
question. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great.
And thanks for
you so
using the
much.
tool. That's great.
Yeah.
Glad you found it useful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we love it.
We're trying to make it easier for students and faculty, teachers to navigate and find out which programs are offered, and parents to find out which programs are offered at the community colleges. So in one place, right? Like that are all pertain to CTE. So it's definitely a work in progress. So we appreciate your feedback, Lynn. That's a great question.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Nice to meet you well.
Thank you for the session. Very